And LA County now passing the buck on its sanctuary policies. It's moving to make taxpayers pick up the tab and start paying rent and legal fees for illegal immigrants. How's this supposed to work? Bill Melugin live there in LA with more. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Dana. Well, the 10 million people who live here in LA County are waking up to news this morning that their tax dollars may soon be going to help illegal immigrants and their families. This after a controversial vote last night. The LA County Board of Supervisors voting 4-1 on Tuesday to approve a, quote, immigration emergency declaration in the county in response to recent ICE raids here in LA. Now, that emergency declaration will give LA County the power to provide taxpayer-funded rent relief, legal services, and other assistance to those the county says have been affected by recent ICE raids. Now, the two LA County supervisors who first introduced this declaration say immigrants in LA have been, quote, living under threat from ICE and help is needed.
We have entire families who are destitute because their fathers or mothers were taken from their workplaces and they have no way to pay their rent or put food on the table.
The county will take whatever actions we have within our authority. We need to call on our region to stand up and protect our community members.
Now, in a statement to Fox News, ICE is blasting LA County's decision to approve this declaration. They write in part, quote, the only state of emergency is the one residents of Los Angeles face after electing officials who give a middle finger to the law. Perhaps the board should supervise funds to support law-abiding fire victims who still haven't recovered instead of criminal illegal aliens seeking refuge in their sanctuary city. Now, Dana, the LA County Board of Supervisors also recently cut $25 million from the LA County District Attorney's Office. That's for this current budget year, and that was over the DA's objections about what it would do to public safety. I've been getting texts from prosecutors in that office basically saying it's remarkable the board can not find public safety money for them, but now they've suddenly apparently feel they can find money to help illegal immigrants. We'll send it back to you.
All right, the story continues. Bill Melugin, thank you.
Yeah, Tricia McLaughlin, Assistant DHS Secretary. Welcome back to our program here. Listening to that report, LA has obviously made its position clear. What's the government say about that? What is your position now?
Well, there won't be any operational changes going on from CBP or ICE who are on the ground. We will continue to arrest the worst of the worst out of LA and all of these sanctuary cities. But I will say it really is a failure of LA City Council. They are putting politics ahead of public safety. If they truly cared about their residents and they truly cared about these illegal aliens who are in their city, they would tell them, leave now. Take the government's generous offer to get a $1,000 exit bonus, get a free flight home, and potentially preserve the opportunity to return the right legal way. And yet they're just throwing more money at these illegal aliens as there's rampant homelessness in the city of Los Angeles, and it's really despicable. But we will continue to do our jobs on the ground. Our brave law enforcement has been arresting MS-13 gang members, Tren de Aragua. Just a couple of days ago, I saw reports about a number of child pedophiles being removed from Los Angeles. So they're going to keep on doing their work.
Okay, so these scenes could get ugly the further we get into this. And we've seen that in other places. However, the cartels are now offering to make payments for those who dox. All right, on screen, here we go. $2 grand for intel gathering and doxing. $5 to $10 grand for kidnapping of ICE agents or Customs and Border Patrol agents, non-lethal assault. $50,000 for the assassination of high-ranking officials. Whew. Here's Greg Bavino. He works in Chicago. Says he had a bounty on his head. Watch.
We've got $50,000 bounties on the heads of federal law enforcement officers. We have criminals ramming vehicles, criminals bringing guns to protests. This is not regular street crime here in Chicago. We have assaults on Border Patrol agents, ICE officers, and our allied law enforcement agencies every day, often multiple times per day. And again, these assaults, the lethality of these assaults is increasing.
How can your officers respond to that effectively?
Well, there's power in numbers. There's safety in numbers. Secretary Noem, ever since that terror attack we saw in Dallas, she's been hardening our ICE facilities. President Trump has called in the National Guard, a very prescient and great, strong leadership we've seen from the President of the United States. But, I mean, we are seeing a coordinated, highly organized waging of war on our law enforcement on the streets of Chicago. These men and women are simply enforcing the rule of law and doing their job, and yet there's these foreign terrorist networks who are going after them. They're using a tiered system of bounties to go after them, whether it be doxing their family members, kidnapping, even murdering these brave men and women. But I think it is incumbent upon J.B. Pritzker and the mayor out of Chicago to tell these cartels, to tell these Mexican drug rings and criminal rings, not in our city. Get out. These are American law enforcement, and we will not stand by for this. But they continue not to just put politics ahead of public safety, but ahead of humanity. This is un-American, and these leaders really should be standing up to these narco-terrorists and these Mexican cartels.
So what I'm seeing on the video here, we see a lot of action outside the buildings. I don't think we hear enough about who's inside the building.
Yeah.
Who are you taking into custody? Who are you apprehending? Is it the worst of the worst?
It is truly the worst of worst out of this Broadview processing facility. It's a processing facility, so these people are only in there for about 72 hours, but we are processing members of drug cartels, drug traffickers, MS-13 gang members, Tren de Aragua. We've had murderers, we've had child pedophiles in and out of that facility. We're making sure to get them into hardened detention facilities once they're processed at that Broadview facility. But it really is stunning when you're seeing these protesters, you're seeing these agitators, and you're seeing these politicians giving our law enforcement hell for protecting these facilities and actually protecting these detainees so they can get to the detention facility through their due process and out of this country.
Okay, one more thing here. This Chicago South Side now. Let's go ahead and put up on screen number 4, guys. So these were apparently 2 illegals who took their car and they rammed into agents. Screen left is the driver, Venezuelan illegal alien, gave a order for removal. Is that August of 2024? I do believe it is. Screen right, the passenger, Venezuelan illegal alien. Tricia, what happened here?
Yeah, this incident happened yesterday in the broader Chicago area. There was a targeted stop when these individuals used their car to ram our law enforcement agents. Unfortunately, there was a growing scene where violent rioters started surrounding our law enforcement agents, and it became increasingly hostile. We're seeing more and more of this, that illegal aliens and protesters, really violent agitators, are using their vehicles as weapons. It's a growing tactic that we're seeing, and that's why we've called in the National Guard. That's why President Trump and Secretary Noem have been so strong to give our law enforcement the resources they need, especially as J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson have ordered local and state police to not answer our calls for help, not to answer calls for backup when our law enforcement is being attacked.
Got it. One more quick one. Does your intelligence tell you beforehand how many people are ready to surround an ICE facility or how many people on the outside are ready to act? Do you have that information on a day-to-day basis?
We have the information we need to give our law enforcement the resources that they need, but we continue to collect this intelligence and make sure that these violent terrorists and these domestic and foreign terrorists are not putting our law enforcement in harm's way. And we call on every state and local leader, left or right, Democrat or Republican, to condemn this to the fullest extent. Okay, thank you. I know we'll talk again, Tricia McLaughlin. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate it out of D.C. Thanks.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.